So here we go, boys. Another day, another dev update, and we have some pretty interesting things. We start off with the Americans with the AH-64E Guardian, and yeah, rejoice, American mains, rejoice, because now you can take 16 of the AGM-179s, semi-active laser or IR. So this is probably the best helicopter in the game with this thing. Just because of the amount of missiles you can take. I would probably create something like this. I would, take IR, then take one SAW, right? One semi-active laser, just for the sake of it, because you can get some very long range shots with it. So, yeah, this is actually pretty amazing. It really is. It's gonna make this thing be even better, right? It's just insane. It really is. So, and as you see, guys, for bigger targets, of course, you can get a lock with the AGM from up to like 16 kilometers, even greater. You can do like 20, but the missile, I don't think will have the range for it. But yeah, for bigger targets, you can do it, which is pretty interesting, of course. But of course, the range is still the same for smaller targets, as you see. So you don't lock the target itself, just lock the place. So if I put it right here, But the missile will try to go there, and the seeker will work to lock onto a target, okay? But having 16 of these is pretty insane, I gotta say. I mean, look at this, for example. So... Oh. You just have plenty of missiles to go around and kill all targets that you see driving around. I mean, it is pretty insane, I gotta say. So, I mean, we don't even have more targets. I mean, it's insane, right, that you have these many missiles. And I'm using 4 semi-active laser. But, yeah, look at those go, man. Jesus Christ. Sometimes they do not get the kill, which is kind of funny. They just damage the tank, but especially in like heavily armored MBTs, but still pretty interesting. Another thing is that I'm always saying this because I know you guys gonna ask. The X4 is still the same, okay? They didn't change the X4, and that is, I mean, remember guys, we are in the 10th of September, and the dev server is supposed to end tomorrow, but because of this type of thing not being ready, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna push the dev server a couple of days at least more, maybe a whole week. Because there are a lot of things that are still not working. Another thing that it's not working that we're going to just straight talk about is the SAMP radar. I mean, I'm going to wait for the data mines, but as far as I can test, you can't still detect targets that are above 20 kilometers. It's just impossible, right? So probably still broken, okay? So this type of thing will make me think that on the very least, like 1 or 2 days more of dev server will be coming. Maybe a whole week even. I don't think the whole week kind of scenario is a little bit less likely just because this is kind of a smaller patch. I mean, it's not a smaller patch, it's the same size, but there's a lot of copy-paste that are already ready, right? And the stuff that is really new, it's minor things that I don't think they need a whole week to fix, right? But at the same time, you never know. So for now, I would assume that we will not see the dev server closing probably tomorrow. And while we talk about this, notice something weird on the UI. Well, look at this. They actually changed the UI here, that the flags are more stretched out, basically, right? So weird. And for me personally, it doesn't look good. So I don't know. But you tell me in the comments if you like it. I think it's just kind of weird. It looks stretched out like in a vertical perspective, which is just kind of weird. I don't know. Another thing is that they changed something on the Telar radar of the Buck. I don't know exactly what it is, but it feels different. And I'm going to show it to you guys. So if you go to the Telar, or better, if we are here and we turn it off the radar, you will notice that now you can actually properly maintain a lock. So you have the 2 modes, the group sensor. If I use the group sensor, see that it just doesn't What is that? So kind of bugged still, but sometimes the radar will just turn itself off. But in a general sense, if you use the autonomous mode, you can make it work a little bit better. So it's kind of weird. It is still kind of bugged. But at least now you can look to different directions, see, and the radar is still on. Which is something that, of course, is great. Because then you can basically just keep the radar on and it's not just turning itself off every single time, right? If we use the normal group sensor as well, you can. And with this, I'm pretty sure, hold up, we can. No, for some reason, that I'm just not able to use the IRST for some reason. I don't know what is happening, but I saw some people using the IRST as well together with the, you know, the NCTR basically, right? So NCTR was working for IRST, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I don't know. So honestly, like I don't know, it's a little bit bugged, but at least now, like you see here, you can maintain, even if you are not detecting anything, you can kind of maintain a search on where you were looking. So you can see that I don't have, before, like yesterday, for example, you needed to have something being detected for the radar to remain on. If not, it would actually turn itself off, right? So now you can do it. Now you can properly use the Telar radar to detect targets and fire at targets, which is pretty interesting, right? It takes its time sometimes to detect, but it is kind of fast and yeah, very, very good, right? The IRST, like I said, it's a little bit weird. You can see the IRST right there, right? But I don't know what is happening. It's just, I couldn't make it work. It just doesn't turn itself on. If I click on the button, if I click here, it just doesn't like to go. Let me try one thing, actually. Let me try to turn on this radar to see if I can actually use the IRST there. Now it's working, right? Autonomous? No, I don't know. It's just... No, now it's working, see? But no NCTR and you still read the radar log. So I don't know what is happening. A little bit bugged. But yeah, at least it is a little bit more manageable to actually use this radar to get some kills. And this kill is for you that think that Gaijin would make this AA system useless at less than 2 kilometers. But yeah, guys, very interesting. I mean, it's getting better and better, to be honest. Unless they fix, you know, some people told me that the Aster missile as well is not, you know, working as intended. But if they don't fix those things, yeah, this is the best AA system for long range for sure, right? For now, at least, it is the best. Let's wait and see when they fix the Sky. The Sky Saber is more or less fixed, but the SUMP-T, right? So yeah. Then we have the more interesting ones that I would say, right? We start off with the Oplot armor. So the armor got updated. Not in the hull itself, I think. I mean, I don't know, man. I saw like some things. It doesn't, like the model, it's not different, I don't think. But the turret it is, as you can see, a lot more cellular armor, and it's different the way that it is. So in the turret, it's a little bit stronger. On the hull itself, it is actually a little bit stronger, but it doesn't appear that we have any differences. Maybe it's... no, it's the same, right? I don't know. But in a general sense, it should be able to withstand a little bit more, you know, penetration. So you can see right here, of course, it feels like this is a big area, and it kind of is, but you can really check it out. I mean, if we go back here, hold up, remove that protection analysis, let's go to the US again, and let's just look at the ammunition. This is the normal A29, right? You can see that obviously lower glacis. And these places over here, it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. This is at 500 meters, right? So, although it appears green, you can see that sometimes this thing might actually take the punch, okay? So, yeah, the upper glacis actually is pretty good. Actually, it is, right? Against the A29, right? And the turret is pretty amazing. The turret is amazing. I mean, look at the side cheeks. There's 1,100 millimeters of, 900. It's just impossible to penetrate. Of course, in the mainlet itself, you can still get the kill. But this is for most Russian tanks. And normally what happens is just the destruction of the mainlet. Of course, this weak spot is probably the safest, normally. Here it didn't kill the tank, but it's severely damaged, right? Or even the lower glacis over here. It's always a good option as well. The lower glacis depends on the angle as well. It depends very much, but you can explode the ammunition with this, right? In a general sense, it feels like you are shooting at a T90 or something, right? Lower, like, driver's hatch, mainlets, and lower glacis are the way to go, but you can penetrate in some other places. Remember, this is kind of a top tier, right? So you're gonna see, like, for example, the A2, right? So you can see that the A2, even the A2 has a little bit of trouble penetrating this side. So even though in the protection map, it actually is appearing that it can penetrate, at 500 meters, I mean, you gotta be very close to be able to shoot this thing and penetrate. And even then, look at this. It can take the punch. So, yeah, I think the armor is much, much better. I mean, the lower, like, it's the normal weak spots that these tanks have, but everything else is pretty well armored. Let's take a look at a Russian ammunition over here. Where's the BM60, for example? Again, probability is low of penetration, right? So, there are some places, of course, if you can aim it. I wouldn't aim it like this. I mean, it's just dangerous, but you are not, I mean, you are damaging the autoloader and killing one crew, but the other crew is there, and the turret rotation might actually work and kill you. So I would just try to aim here. Driver's hatch or lower glacis, I think it's the best one. So here it's a kill shot, right, for example. So yeah, it is pretty interesting. This tank is actually becoming pretty armored, but, I mean, it's not impossible to penetrate. Of course, obviously, guys. What did you expect, right? And even on a side angle like this, because of how much penetration it can withstand with the ERA over here, the penetration possibility is low. It's considered low over here, as you see, because it destroys the kinetic energy of the missile of the round before actually going for the armor on the side, right? So it can penetrate it. And if you shoot in the tracks, I think it's a very well-known place that you can shoot. But yeah, pretty good arm. Like, the ERA is actually pretty good. So the tank overall is pretty good, actually. I was expecting even maybe less than this. And of course, you can always explode HE on that massive TV system there. So yeah, but basically the Oplot, right? Kind of a change here. Nothing too crazy. But yeah. And then we have a massive change to the Sufa. But before we get to that, let's take a look on the two new mosquitoes. So we have two new British mosquitoes, okay? We have it right here at the end of these lines, okay? So you have to get the other two to get these. And we have two of them. We have the Night Fighter version that has the little radar there. I don't know if the radar is working. We're going to check it out. But yeah, very cool looking because it's black, right? It doesn't have any air-to-ground capabilities, but it does have, of course, the cannons and everything. Like I said, the radar. It has the cap to just, you know, not appear the engine flames because it's a night fighter. And then we have the ash bottle, basically, right, with the APS-4 radar, the same as in the Swedish Tech 3, you know, just British. So let's just fly this thing. I want to see if the radar is working. I don't think it is, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, the radar is not working. I wonder if it is actually going to have a radar, but yeah. Doesn't have a cockpit yet, but it looks pretty amazing. It really does because of the black color scheme, right? It has the normal guns that a Mosquito have. So very, very cool, right? Nothing else to talk about here, but yeah. Like I said, this one is the same as the other one. It has the naval radar, so yeah. And then, guys, let's talk about this thing. So we had a massive change to it. A massive buff? No. A massive nerf. Yes. Although, if you actually take a look on the stat card, and it is having more power on the stat card, it tells you 108 kilonewtons instead of the 105 from before, it actually is a nerf. So it's producing less thrust than before. How do I know this? If we actually go to StatShark. Yes, in the StatShark, you can actually see the difference. And the first thing is time to speed. So I'm comparing the Sufa to the Block 50 over here. And as you can see before, if you watched videos, you will notice that the Sufa was better. and it isn't anymore. So it is basically the same as the Block 50. So it is pretty interesting. If we take a look on the engine performance per se, you're gonna see kind of an interesting trend over here. The same parameters from before, you can see that we have basically the same parameters. So basically the same power output up to like a certain point. Then the C is better, and then the Sufa is better, the Pratt & Whitney one. And now you can actually see that although, yes, the Sufa is the exact same up to 800 kilometers per hour, from 800 to 1,300, basically, the C is better. By much? No. But it's not, a little change. It's like 7 kilonewtons, so it's a substantial amount. And after that, the Sufa is a little bit better, around almost 10, like 9 kilonewtons. So in a general sense, it means that the Sufa is going to be better at the higher speeds, and the Block 50 will be better at the lower air speeds over here in retaking speed, basically, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. They're kind of the same because they kind of, one is better at a certain speed, the other is at another, and at the end of the day, it's not a big difference, right? Which makes us have this time to speed kind of difference, right? That basically they are the same. You can clearly see here between 800 to even, I mean, look at this. At 800, even if it has less power, look at this. The Sufa is slightly better, like 2 kilometers per hour. So it's slightly, so it's basically the same, right? And at between these speeds over here, the Sufa becomes a little bit worse. Not by much as well, like 3 or 4 kilometers per hour. And then at the end, so basically you are seeing what the engine is producing, right? Less acceleration than it was before, but pretty much the same as the Block 50. If we actually take a look on the turn performance, you will see that the change here is pretty much nothing. So the Sufa is still gonna turn more than the Block 50, as you see. By much? No, by like less than a degree per second, but it is a little bit better. And it's producing the same thrust, the same time to speed. What that means is that even though the Sufa is bigger, without the actual CFTs, it will actually make you be able to turn a little bit more. I don't know how, but I guess it does. Than the C model. And at the same time, accelerate pretty much at the same level. Okay, so this is the change for the block, for the Sufa. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, it is still a pretty amazing aircraft. To be honest, I have no idea how this thing can turn more than an F-16C. Even if it's just less than a degree, I mean, I gotta do some dogfights with this thing because for me, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, this is kind of it. Of course, there will be other things. I just want to show to you guys this because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not how a torpedo works. But, work in progress, right? So yeah, pretty much that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and yeah, see you guys. Bye.